What's going on, guys, and welcome back. It is another absolutely beautiful day. It is sunny out. We're on snow. We're out at Bruce's place, and he got absolutely hammered with snow. So we have a lot of sleds. That sled in the back, don't even worry about that one right now. Worry about the 9R today is our main thing. But you're going to see behind me, we have Bruce's 650 and my Boost. And pretty much what we're going to be doing in these next 3 videos, and they might be spread out, but there's going to be 3 videos. We're going to do overview of the 9R and how we enjoyed it throughout the season, what we liked, what we didn't like. We're going to do 650 talk, and we're going to do Boost talk. So it's all going to be different videos, but for today, we're doing 9R. So if you guys are just kind of getting into my videos, or if you've been here a while, we took a 2023 XER 850, 136 track, 1.6 lug, and we ripped the 850 out of it. We got a 9R motor right from Polaris. It was not a built motor. It was directly from Polaris and all the goodies to go with it. And we put it into this trail chassis. So this was, it was a really big ticket this year. And this is obviously, I'd say our biggest build this season and probably to date on the channel was this 9R. So we have a ton of miles on it. We have Bruce here who did most of the miles. And we're just going to kind of go through what we felt, what we thought, what we did to it, what we changed, and kind of how the progression of this entire build went. And now with that being said, 2024 release was just a couple weeks ago, and no, they did not come out with a 9R in any type of trail platform. So for those of you that wanted to see that, you might want to stick around to the end of the video because we might have some pretty interesting information that you guys are going to want to hear. I just wanted to remind you guys that the Ultimate Sled Package giveaway is still live. It is live until March 30th, so we have 10 days left for you to get entered. What we're giving away, CNA XPTs, Woody's Carbides and Studs, Rockspeed FX handguards, and a $200 gift card to Southside Sales and Service. Now, the way you get entered, you go on 322threads.com, and anything that you purchase gets you automatically entered. For every $5 you spend is 1 entry. So I have all the new lineup here. There's some extras that I don't even have with me that are online, but any one of these hats you purchase, again, $5 gets you 1 entry, and then any one of these clothes. So we have some pretty awesome hoodies. We have black camo, 322 Threads hoodie. We have a tan American flag hoodie, which is a big hit. We have some JJ logo stuff. So we have a hoodie. The flat, or this one, the tan one, also comes in green. We have a gray long sleeve flag. We have JJ t-shirts front, and then we have a, it's not super tan, it's just like almost like an off-white t-shirt in this. We also have that in green. The hoodies are really heavy duty. They're super warm. I refuse to cheap out and get cheap ones, so these are really warm. I've worn them all winter long. So head on over to 322threads.com and get your orders in. Like I said, there are 10 days left to get entered. And you also could get this hat, JJ hat, or this 322 Threads shirt. And again, guys, we're giving away almost $2,000 worth of parts, so don't miss out on the opportunity to potentially win. And now we're going to our video. But without further ado, we have the man, the myth, the legend. We have Brucey here, and Bruce is going to tell us we're going to go through this entire sled top to bottom, what he did, mileage, and so on and so forth.
Hey guys, so yeah, this sled I was really looking forward to this year. Usually I don't get to do a lot of riding, and this time I made it a point to get out and try out the stuff, put the miles on it, make changes, make mistakes so that I know, okay, no, I don't want to do that, whether it be for me or for you guys. I just want to feel things out. I have other guys, that ride it that like Jesse or Scotty, and, I try to value their opinion, so I use that and make changes, and that's what I like to do with everything, so that it makes things much faster. When somebody needs something, I can use that information and make those changes quick, and know that it's going to work good. So this sled, I put 1,200 miles on this sled this year, and all kinds of terrain, because obviously this year it was kind of a lousy winter in the east, so we had some clickers here and there, and I'm not proud of some of the places I went. So but in general, I did do a lot of really good riding too. And, you know, in Vermont, a buddy's place, John, just a great place, great trails up there in Danville. They take really good care of them. And then Pittsburgh, and then around here, and then Woodford. So it was all different kinds of snow, including last night when we went riding. It was like completely different snow.
Giant bowl of mashed potatoes.
Yeah, yeah. Just,
wet mashed potatoes.
Yeah, and just, you know, natural terrain bumps and, you know, trying to muscle it through. And it was really fun to do that. So when we built this sled, obviously you saw the video, or you can look back at it, switching the 850 out, putting the 900 in, you know, pretty, you know, cookie cutter, fit in there perfect, everything was good. And right away, you know, when we did that, I already had the things done that I wanted to have done underneath. You know, I had already valved the shocks, I had already put the heavy HD spring, well, this had HD springs on because it's 23. I left 100-pound springs on the front, valved the fronts, and then I put C&A skis on it. I usually like to take C&A skis and use them in certain conditions, and use Polaris skis in other conditions, because they definitely have their
advantages.
Point. Yeah, where the advantages where you go, and temperatures of the day. But with this sled, and you know, the thing rips, and I just wanted the steering, so I left them on. I used XPTs and 8 inches of Maverick carbide, Woody's carbide under it, and then I even put steering plates on it like we use on a snowcross sled. So, you know, I just, you know, it was definitely overkill for when we had that little bit of snow, but when we went and it was fresh snow, which up in Danville, there was plenty of times we went up there and it was nice snow, and it was loose. Or last night, they definitely worked. You wanted that thing, when you turned, you wanted it to push against that snow to help you around the corner. So that, you know, that would help any snowmobile in a case like that. So it had the 1.6 lug on it, and definitely has a lot of bite. I think I covered Jesse last night with a mountain of snow.
Yeah, yeah. And that was soaked head to toe,
yeah,
inside and out.
It's not that I tried to do it. But anyway, but the 1.6, it definitely has a lot of bite. So in that front bite underneath the front track there, we did pull the strap. We pulled it about half of what that cross country is. Cross country is about 5/8 of an inch in measurement of movement from the torque arm to the rail. I pretty much did it in half. I didn't want to go all the way. And in some instances when it was hard, I could have went all the way and I would have liked it. But this sled was flat. I mean, go around the corner, just like a Formula One car, and that is what I like. I know you know, there's those areas where you go around, you get some bite you weren't expecting, and it picks a ski. I mean, you're going to have that. Obviously our terrain as snowmobilers, we know, changes daily. In the day, it changes. But in general, this thing's cornered flat, and it was great. I did bump, and I went to 125s in the front, because I fooled around with some dual rate stuff in the front, spring wise, and that's, you know, jury's out on that. I'm still going to do more of that, and because I didn't have the conditions I really wanted, they changed a lot, so I didn't really like it. So I went the other way, and I put 125s on it, which I'm glad I had last night, because the snow was deep and we needed that spring pressure to hold the nose up. And because the snow was moving, I didn't want the sled to move. We've talked about that before. When the snow is loose, we want the sled to be more solid. When the snow is tight, we want the sled to be more fluid. So we make those changes with clickers to do that. Well, last night we were clicking up and we were springing up, you know, clicking springs, and I knew I had 125s on the front, and it was perfect for that. So that was another change I made, and I do like the 125 spring too. I think it's really good. If it's hard out, and you know, just plain, you know, that snow is just hard, it's froze up and it's cold, yeah, it's, you know, you'll get some feedback in your hands. And you know, again, it could be valving, it can be gold 100-pound springs, but again, people don't want to change back and forth between springs. But that spring in general, for turning and going through terrain, it works really good.
Yeah, so Bruce, he made a bunch of changes in the rear, valving wise, kind of throughout the year, even with different front springs that affected how the rear felt.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I even showed up a couple times to the shop, and I pushed on the back, and I'm like, what in the world you got? And he's like, that's because of the front springs. And sure as can be, he'd change the front, and it would go right back to feeling like it did.
Yeah, because when the nose, you know, you can have this, because we talk about the attitude of the sled. Again, no matter what sled we're talking about, the attitude of the sled and how much wedge is in it And so a ski pressure, how much pressure's in the center of the sled, and how light the rear is. So the longer the sled is, the lighter the tail is, because you're forward. So it affects the valving there, because it's like, it can be lighter, and it can have, you need slower rebound, because if the tail is light, it's going to run a rebound quicker. So with the light springs in the front and the nose being down even a 3/4 of an inch, it puts that front track on the ground, and it takes weight off the tail. And I could feel it right away. You know, it was like, wow, that really affected that. Put the 125s on it, leveled the thing back out again, and it was great without making any changes to the rear. So, all those things, one side of the sled definitely affects the other side of the sled. You have to remember that when you're making changes. Not so much with clickers as much. It's more spring, because spring is setting the rake of the sled. The clickers are there to anti-bottom.
Dampen your bumps.
And you may not like it more in the front because you feel it in your wrist, or you might not like it in the rear because the trail is tight and you're feeling all that chop. So you loosen it up a little bit clicker-wise. But those, again, we're going to hit on more of that stuff when we're just talking about that. But in general, this sled, with a 136, which I've never put that many miles on a 136. So I definitely learned a lot from that, which helps me and it helps everybody, I feel.
Yeah, so a lot of suspension work went into it. What everyone really wants to know is, how did you like the power? Did you have any issues? What did you do? Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about 9Rs kind of seizing up within the first 50 miles sometimes, and
yeah, I mean, we across the board, there's a little bit of that going on, and I other than the point of a bearing being bad, which obviously that has to be it, because I've seen some of it, and it's nothing in the top end, it's just bottom end. So, you and I or nobody else has any control over that. But we all know that if we're driving our new truck down the road and it stalls, you dial the phone. You might as well not even open the hood. And unfortunately, that is where we are at with snowmobiles nowadays.
Right.
For the most part, it's not as bad as a truck, but it could be. You're going to take it off with a Polaris. You can open it up and you can look at it. You can see something at least to know, hey, this is what happened, and you can get yourself out of a bind.
Right.
But in general, something like internal, like a bearing, we all don't know anything what that is going to be. But we sell a lot of snowmobiles, and they all take the same bearings. A 650 crank and a 9R crank are lighter than an 850, but in general, it is the same crankshaft. It's just a 1/4 pound lighter, but the bearings are the same. So that being said, it's, that is a very, very, very small percentage of things that are going on out there. And, I didn't have any hiccups at all. It felt great. I love the response, because again, I had said I'm a small motor guy. I like that rippy, clutch it and it feels real rippy. And an 850, it's harder to get that out of it. This sled, I could get that out of it. And I think, I know there's more clutching I could do to it, because I just was concentrating on ride, handling, that kind of thing.
The whole package, not just one thing.
Not just the clutching. And I had 2 different clutches I was floating between. And it does carry more weight than an 850, no question. And it runs more RPM than an 850. So the motor's got more power. And but even with that more weight and still a light spring in the rear and more helix in the rear than an 850, it is still more rippy. And on-off throttle, real fun. And so it just makes it fun.
And I definitely talked about it after the first time we rode it. But, the more miles that you get on it, the more comfortable you get and the better you can explain it. And it is just a corner to corner, beast. You come out of that corner and you clamp it and it's there. There's no delay, there's no hesitation. It is right then and there and ready to rumble. Obviously, like Bruce said, he's, clutched the smaller engine stuff and he liked that. But now he got this out of a big horsepower sled, and I don't know if he'll ever go back.
Yeah, I know. I really like the 650. We'll talk about that in another video. And but it is a ton of fun, and again, we're dealing with really no difference in weight in snowmobile.
Nope.
It's not it's not like bigger motor, more weight, blah blah, and it's not. It's the same snowmobile. It's just more power.
And you guys have seen us dragging it against the boost. it's right there. And again, we could sit here and we could do clutching and we could do gearing, but you know, he kind of threw something in it in the beginning of the year and floated between those two things, like you said. But I mean, it just runs awesome. It's got good top end, even with a bigger lug track. You know, that thing is like a big fan under there. And we've talked about that before. So it's impressive. He's had not even one issue with it.
Nope.
It's been flawless, and it's impressive. And I was, you know, we were all super excited for this project. I know you guys were even excited for this project. So for it to come together and hold together and not have any issues and just be able to enjoy it and have fun with it is super cool.
Yeah. And
obviously, like I said in the beginning of the video, you know, Polaris did not release this for 2024. You know, not in a trail model. So Bruce can kind of take over what we're doing here.
So we are definitely putting together some pricing on doing 9R packages and doing the top end. And you know, there's going to be some stair step to it. If somebody just wants a top end, if they have an 850, it already has the heavier crank. You know, we can leave that in there. It's not like we had to split the cases and do the crank. And just for a 1/4 pound, you know, obviously lighter is better. But we are going to work on this stair step of what we can do between cutting the pipe, coating the pipe, so it won't have the covering over it. It'll have more of a coating on it, so it, you know, hold the heat better. And also it changes the sound of the motor a little bit too, as far as, you know, just in general outside the sled. It sounds really good. I did not do that to this, but I've heard it and it sounds really good. Definitely going to do it to the next one that we build. And but it'll just be a, you know, here's the package, and then, you know, A, B, C option, you know, between light and flywheel and pipe and those kind of things. And we'll be putting that together so that we can, you know, make that package available.
Right. And once Bruce has some more time to, you know, put that package fully together, we'll do an entire video just talking about that and letting you guys know, you know, your A, B, C, D, E, F, G options. And again, you know, it's going to be a 650 option, 850 option, and then, you know, A, B, C, D for each engine. Yeah. So no, we didn't get it, but we're going to try and make it readily available to you guys if you did want to do something like that. But any other tidbit of information other than you just loved it and you might not go back to a side?
I do. My 650 has got not a lot of miles on it this year. You know, and I do enjoy that sled, but this year is like, it's just my, it's
your
like
home now.
It's your home now. Yeah. Yeah.
But guys, that is it. 9R build, 100% success this year. Obviously, very cool to be a part of, and without Bruce, it wouldn't be possible in Southside Sales and Service. But stay tuned for that entire 9R package building. Again, you know, he's working on that, and I'm going to help in any way that I can. But that is going to do it, guys. 9R, big thumbs up. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.